You audit a fish processing plant. You're 26 years old. You work in the financial crimes unit of a Big Four accounting firm in Singapore. The fish processing plant is your assignment for the third quarter. The owner is a Russian businessman who relocated to Dubai 4 years ago. The plant exports frozen tuna to Spain. You find a problem in the cargo manifests. The plant's tuna shipments arrive at Algeciras with weights that do not match the weights at departure from Vladivostok. The discrepancy is consistent. 3% more weight on arrival than at loading. You write up the finding. Your manager closes the file. The client has provided a satisfactory explanation. The discrepancy is within tolerance. The audit is signed. 6 years from now, you will arrange the sale of Iranian crude oil to a refinery in Mumbai. 140,000 barrels. The transaction will be invisible to every Western enforcement agency for 9 months. The fee will pay for your daughter's medical school. A Wednesday. Your first private client. You have left the Big Four. You work from a serviced office in the financial district of a Caribbean territory that does not appear on most globes. Your first client is a Belgian commodities trader. He needs to receive payment for fertilizer shipped to a Russian state-owned company. The fertilizer was shipped before the war. The payment is overdue. The Belgian bank has frozen the account. You set up a chain. The Russian buyer pays a Dubai-registered shell company. The shell company pays a Cyprus-registered shell company. The Cyprus company invoices the Belgian trader for a fictitious agricultural consulting service. The money clears in 4 weeks. You charge the trader 6%. He thanks you in Flemish. He sends a bottle of champagne to your hotel. You tell yourself this is paperwork. The fertilizer was already delivered. The trader is owed his money. The system is broken. You are providing a workaround. You bill 3 more clients on the same model that month. 8 months later, a tanker. The vessel is registered in Cameroon under the name Polaris Star. It was previously registered in Liberia as the Aurora Marine, before that in the Marshall Islands as the Greenpoint Trader. It was built in 2004 at a Korean shipyard. It is owned by a holding company in the British Virgin Islands. The ultimate beneficial owner is a former Russian energy minister. Your job is to make the tanker disappear 3 times during a single voyage. You work with a captain who has done this before. He is 61 years old. He used to command a Soviet research vessel. The tanker loads 2 million barrels of Russian crude at a Baltic port. It sails into the Mediterranean with its automatic identification system broadcasting normally. Off the coast of Greece, the system goes dark for 9 hours. The tanker meets a second vessel registered in Gabon. They conduct a ship-to-ship transfer. Half the cargo moves. The Polaris Star then continues to a port in southern Turkey. The documentation shows the oil was loaded in Egypt. The Gabonese vessel sails to a buyer in India. The crude is sold for $38 below market price. The buyer asks no questions about origin. You earn $400,000 on the operation. You celebrate with your wife at a restaurant in Merlebone. She asks why you have started using a different phone for work. You tell her the firm has new compliance rules. You order a second bottle of wine, a Tuesday, 18 months in. The Iranian Quds force calls, not directly. The call comes from a Lebanese investment bank in Beirut. The bank's chairman is the son-in-law of a senior figure in Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. They need to move oil. They need to move it past 2 layers of sanctions, past 4 maritime watch lists, past a coalition naval task force operating in the Persian Gulf. You design the route. The crude loads at Bandar Abbas with documentation showing it as Iraqi origin. A K-Pillar analyst will eventually flag the inconsistency, but not for 14 months. The vessel makes ship-to-ship transfers off the coast of Malaysia. The local government tolerates the practice in exchange for refining contracts. You have spent $40,000 cultivating 1 mid-level official in Putrajaya. On the 3rd day of the voyage, a US Navy destroyer alters course toward your tanker. You receive the alert from a private maritime monitoring service at 3 in the morning Singapore time. You have 8 hours to decide whether to spoof the AIS or break radio silence. You spoof. The destroyer breaks off. Its captain has no actionable intelligence. The tanker disappears into a weather system off the coast of Oman for 36 hours. The cargo eventually reaches a refinery in Gujarat. The Indian buyer pays through a chain that touches banks in Hong Kong, Bahrain, and the United Arab Emirates. The Iranians receive their money in renminbi. You collect a fee of $1.1 million. You have two choices. The Iranians want a long-term arrangement, 12 voyages a year for 3 years. The fee structure would be tied to a percentage of cargo value. The annual income would exceed $8 million. Option A. You sign the standing contract. Your firm becomes a structural component of the Iranian sanctions evasion apparatus. Option B. You decline the standing arrangement. You continue with single voyage contracts. Lower revenue, lower exposure. The correct answer is B. Standing contracts create patterns. Patterns create OFAC designations. Single voyage contracts can be reattributed to subcontractors if a vessel is interdicted. You take option B. The Iranians are unhappy. The Lebanese banker assures you the relationship can continue on a per-voyage basis. A week later, an Israeli newspaper publishes a story identifying 3 of the vessels in the chain. The story names 2 shipping firms in Greece. It does not name you. Most nights, you believe it never will. A Thursday, 2 years in, you have 2 choices. A man calling himself a representative of a Caracas-based gold trading concern is offering you a contract. He needs to monetize 400 kilograms of Venezuelan gold by routing it through Turkish refineries. You know the gold was mined by the Cartel de los Soles using forced indigenous labor in Bolivar state. The man does not say this. You do not ask. Option A. You take the work. The fee is $2.7 million. The gold passes through 3 refineries and emerges as legitimate Turkish bullion within 6 weeks. Option B. You refuse. The contract goes to a competitor in Geneva. The gold moves anyway 3 weeks later through the same Turkish refineries. The correct answer is A. In this industry, refusing the work does not stop the work. It only redistributes the fee. You take the contract. You do not visit Caracas. You do not hold the gold. You move documents. You move money. A month into the engagement, your Geneva counterpart sends you a file by accident. It is a forensic report on a mining village in Bolivar. 43 indigenous men were displaced from their land in February. 3 of them died in a flooded shaft within 6 weeks. The report is being prepared for a Swiss prosecutor. The file is not meant for you. You forward it back. You delete the local copy. You never see the indigenous miners whose hands were burned by mercury extraction. You tell yourself you are not part of that. Most nights you believe it. A Friday, 2.5 years in. The North Korean approach is different. There's no front company. There's no investment banker. A man in a charcoal suit sits down across from you at a hotel bar in Pyongyang's Yanggakdo International Hotel. He tells you his name is Mr. Kim. He does not specify which Mr. Kim. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea needs you to facilitate the sale of military hardware. Specifically, 200,000 artillery shells to a buyer your government has not officially identified, but which you understand to be the Russian Federation. You will not handle the artillery shells. You will handle the freight forwarding documentation, the marine insurance, the letters of credit, the bank routing for the payment of 110 million euros. You decline. Mr. Kim does not seem upset. He thanks you for your time. He asks if you have ever visited Pyongyang in winter. He says it is beautiful. You leave for the airport at 4 in the morning. Your driver takes a different route than the one used to bring you to the hotel. You spend the flight wondering if the route was different, because Mr. Kim wanted you to know it could be. You arrive home. You sleep for 11 hours. You take the contract from Caracas. A Sunday, 3 years in, a boarding. The Belgian Navy intercepts a tanker in the North Sea, 3 nautical miles inside Belgium's exclusive economic zone. The tanker is registered in Guinea. It was previously registered in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Before that, in Comoros. The tanker is the third vessel in a chain you designed 8 months ago. You have not been involved with it for 6 months. The current operator inherited the route from a competitor who exited the business. The Belgian special forces arrest the captain. They seize the vessel. The cargo manifest shows structural steel for delivery to Haifa. The actual cargo is 160,000 barrels of Russian crude. The investigation begins to unwind the ownership chain, the Caribbean shell company, the Cypriot intermediary, the Maltese ship management firm. A Belgian magistrate issues an order to interview the current managing partners of the management firm. You are not yet a partner. You are a senior advisor with a non-equity arrangement. Your name does not appear on the management firm's filings, but your name appears in the firm's email server. The Belgian prosecutor requests an extradition warrant from the Caribbean territory where you live. The territory's foreign ministry takes 10 months to respond. 10 months is enough. You use them to liquidate 3 properties. You move your family to a country with no extradition treaty. You burn 2 phones, 3 laptops, and a hard drive containing client correspondence going back 4 years. You tell yourself this is not running, this is geography. A Monday in October, 4 years in, you wake in a city that does not have your photograph on file at any Western airport. The city has 4 million people. You live in a high-rise apartment in a neighborhood where most of your neighbors are Russian. Their wives speak French in the elevators. Their children attend the international school. The building has its own generator, its own water filtration, its own private security. The doorman knows you only by the name on your lease, which is not your name. You take meetings in cafes. You speak no Russian. You speak no Arabic. You speak the English of a former Big Four auditor and the body language of a man who has not been arrested. Your firm has restructured. You're now a director of a private consultancy registered in a free zone. The consultancy advises commodities clients on logistics optimization. The clients pay in cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrency clears through 3 exchanges before reaching your operating account. Your wife is in Geneva with your daughter. They visit every 6 weeks. Your daughter is 15. She has stopped asking when you will come home. She has started asking what you actually do for work. You tell her you are a consultant. You ask if she wants more tea. A US Treasury press release names your former management firm in connection with 17 designated vessels. The release does not name you. 2 of the firm's other senior advisors are added to the OFAC list. Their assets are frozen across 43 jurisdictions. You are not on the list. Not yet. A Wednesday in February, 5 years in. The journalists arrive first. 2 reporters from a European investigative consortium spend 9 months building a profile of your firm. They have your firm's registration documents. They have a former employee. They have leaked emails from a Cypriot shell company. They publish on a Wednesday. The story is 16,000 words. It identifies 41 ships, 23 shell companies, and 4 named individuals. You are individual number 3. The OFAC designation comes 11 days later. Your assets in Hong Kong, Singapore, Cyprus, Dubai, and the Cayman Islands are frozen within 72 hours. Your daughter's tuition payment to the medical school in Lausanne fails to clear. You have to wire the money from a personal account through a Lebanese bank that does not respond to Western Treasury inquiries. The bank charges 17%. You sit in your apartment. The apartment is paid in cash through a leasing company that does not know your name. You cannot leave the country. You can leave the apartment, but only to walk to a cafe 4 blocks away. A man in a black coat watches you from across the street. He does not pretend otherwise. You think about the fish processing plant, the 3% weight discrepancy. The first time you signed off on something you knew was wrong. You remember the bottle of champagne from the Belgian trader. You remember telling yourself this was paperwork. You were right, the paperwork was the weapon. Sanctions evasion is a real industry. It is built by former Big Four auditors, retired naval officers, commodity traders, and lawyers from offshore jurisdictions. Its clients are sanctioned states, sanctioned oligarchs, and the cartels and militias allied with them. Its tools are flag of convenience registries, ship-to-ship transfers, shell company layering, and the deliberate manipulation of maritime tracking systems. The Russian Shadow Fleet alone operates an estimated 3,300 vessels. The fleet generated $9.4 billion in additional revenue for the Russian state in a single year of war. Most of the people who built it have never been prosecuted. Now you know what it costs to make a tanker disappear. The first signature is paperwork. The last signature is the rest of your life. Subscribe for more.